The Bennetts British Superbike Championship is obviously considered the day job, but every now and again we get to do some really cool things. And we're now running the Monster Energy Track Day of Legends here at a beautiful sunny Silverstone circuit. If we're saying Track Day of Legends, that's a pretty big build. Well, behind me is the Dago number 46, and you don't get much more legendary than that. Valentino Rossi is joined by Pecco Bagnaia, Franco Morbidelli, Bautista, and all the other monster riders. It's a who's who of current and former British and world champions, and they're all cutting laps in the Silverstone sunshine. It's a fabulous way for Bennetts British Superbike to integrate with the global superstars of world racing, and we're happy to be here.
Last time on Thrill of the Race.
Shooting through though here comes Tommy Bridewell.
The wide ball again. Yeah.
Tommy was gone.
Rory Skinner here challenging Tommy Bridewell on the approach to the hairpin.
Rory Skinner is hungry.
And what a return to business this has been for the Scotsman. Here on home turf, Rory Skinner then climbs up the hill and he's finally a BSB race winner. Bit of a moment there for Skinner, that might be the door open. But Christian didn't have a look.
But then again, they're not close enough yet.
Yeah, we've got a red flag.
Right.
We've got a red flag, and that is going to be declared a result.
7 different winners in 11 races.
We got the win. Snetterton circuit, deep in East Anglia. We've been coming racing here, well I haven't personally, for about the last 60 years, but it's deeply embedded into the British Superbike Championship. But some memorable races, and of course the circuit changed beyond all recognition in 2011 from a 2-mile track to a 3-mile circuit that we've raced on every year since. The one thing that we perhaps weren't expecting this weekend was a return to almost winter conditions. The temperature yesterday didn't get above 12 degrees, raining on and off all day, and it turned Snetterton into an ice rink. Everything's to play for. The points are now head-to-head at the top between Glenn and Tommy. It's that old rivalry renewed, but as we see from my shoulder, the clouds are coming. I think there's a storm brewing.
Well, Snetterton's totally different from Knockhill, isn't it? It's almost like a power circuit. You'd imagine 2 big long straights. It's got some fast flowing corners as well. And free practice 1 was pretty much dominated by the defending reigning champ Tommy Bridewell.
Weirdly, it was almost 2 halves of yesterday, because FP1 I was fastest, but I didn't feel very good on the bike. 48.4, which was still quite a fast lap time, but I knew there was a lot more potential in the bike, but just couldn't get the setup to allow me to get it to go.
Coming into Snetterton, I think all eyes were on Glenn. Tommy surprised everyone so much with how many podiums he's put together. 7 podiums in the first 11 races and leading the championship. And Glenn's been on the podium 4 times, and all of them have been wins, but Knockhill was just one of those rounds to forget for him. And I think all eyes were on Glenn coming into Snetterton. It's a circuit that has traditionally been really strong for Ducati.
Competing against the Ducati was tough, because some parts of the Ducati would ride itself. But now, I went to pull out of my brother Andrew's slipstream down the back straight yesterday, and when I went to pull out, I couldn't even pass him. Our bike is a fast bike, but the others have all caught up. So, yeah, there's straight lines here, but there's BMs are fast. Honda's a very fast bike now, and in a sense that pleases me, because I want to, along with my team, make the difference. The team work hard and find little changes, and we work hard, and together we work as a strong unit and become the best versions of ourselves. And if we do that, the success comes.
Tommy's coming out the blocks strong everywhere now, and that's something that I think a lot of us were kind of caught off guard by how good this Honda package actually is. And to go from Knockhill to Snetterton, which are 2 completely different tracks, yeah, there might be a little bit of testing done in between, but to come here, arrive here, and bang, straight away, free practice 1, top of the times, he's going into this kind of Mick Doohan mode where he wants to destroy everybody in every session through the course of the weekend.
Did a lot of analysing for FP2 to just clarify a few areas. Straight away I was able to lap 1.1 seconds faster than I did this in the morning session, so I ended up 47.3, I think it was, in comfortable, really, to be honest, quite comfortable at that pace. And to be honest, a 47.3 around here is is tramping on.
Yeah, not my favourite circuit on the calendar, but funny enough, where I got my first wins. It's a track that's seems to favour the Ducati, so it's good for our bike. In terms of, like, obviously this part of the country is flat, so they can only work with what they've got. But when you come from Knockhill, which is short and sharp and lots of undulations, and then you come here, you go from the shortest circuit on the calendar to the longest. It's a bit of recalibrating the brain. We're following a good vein of form this year. I think we take the confidence, not necessarily from the last race that we did, but from the strong form we've shown all year in lots of different circuits in lots of different conditions. So I think we just have to manage each and every race and maximise our potential. This championship is so tight and so close. If we just concentrate on ourselves and maximise what we can do and not really worry too much about the others, then, you know, come the end of the year, we'll see how that pans out.
FP1 was really good. I started off and went into a 49 already, which was the best start to a Snetterton I've ever done. I have done a 48 flat round here on the softer tyres, but now we're on the harder tyres. It makes life a little bit harder. I was about 20th or something, so I've got to do Q1 and through to Q2, hopefully.
Nobody had touched the track in wet until free practice 3, and that was only a little 10-minute window for them to try and get used to, try and get dialed in, which is never nice because they can't push too much in that free practice 3 because it could jeopardise the qualifying session at the back of that. You make one tiny mistake, and we've seen tiny mistakes this weekend from quite a lot of people, and it has big consequences. The pathway bike of Lewis Rollo looked pretty strong straight away, didn't he?
This is Rollo, and he goes over the top. He'd been 4 seconds quicker than anybody else, and if you're a second quicker in these conditions because you like the wear, that's brilliant, but 4 seconds quicker is a little bit too much quicker.
It was tricky out there, and you could be forgiven for thinking that a lot of the BSB riders were probably watching some of the sessions going, we've got to go out in that.
Storm Stacey, can he change things here then? Danny Bucker, maybe he's not sorted. Stacey early on the power there, and a bit of a slide as you would expect at the same point as where Hickman had one over the line then for Storm Stacey, number 79. Does he put in a late charge here and a challenge? He does! And Danny Bucker then, the smile might be wiped off the face now. It's 4th place, and it is not going to be Q2.
Christian Ingham was lucky. Christian Ingham was very lucky. He had a kind of a silly little crash going in towards the Wilson hairpin where just a little bit too much front brake pressure, and it was a really strange one. But then again, the team, they're on the back foot. They're trying to fix the bike, build the bike, and then put the bike straight back out onto track. So that's always in the back of the mind for the rider.
It goes a little bit wrong, but his pace this year has been phenomenal.
They've been trying to put the bike back together here for Christian Idden after a tumble in FP3. Looks like they're just about making the finishing touches to it. Let's see these first flying laps coming in then here. Just 10 minutes of the session to get out there, stay out there, try and conserve some heat in the tyres. Here comes Tommy Bridewell, and he now goes to P1, 209.5. Number 79 then, about to come over the line on the LKQ Euro Car Parts Kawasaki, and does go fastest.
Yep.
Fond of the wet and fond of Snets, and it's a 208.8 to put him in P1. Oh dear, we've got a follow. Is that Glenn Irwin?
That's Glenn Irwin.
Might be destination pole for the Australian. Number 3 comes over the line now, and the CLL Fairbird. Look forward, Honda, and he is on pole, the 206.067. Ryan Vickers then trying to poach pole from McConnell.
This is a good lap.
Tidy out of what used to be known as the S's, and we've got to find Billy. You mentioned it was coming on the Gorilla OMG Yamaha. Here comes Kyle Wright then. Is he about to head onto the front row over the line? He does. Vickers is then heading back onto pole position here at home. That's Snetterton at 205.8 now, just waiting for Tommy Bridewell and Storm Stacey. Is Stacey about to go onto the front row? Bridewell goes third,
and then gets
knocked off by Stacey.
Stacey front row, brilliant.
I did the business, got it done. Did what I said I was going to do. Honestly, it's whoever wants it most, whoever can get the bike set up the best. I believe we've got a good wet setup on that bike, so that suits me. So yeah, we'll see what we can do this afternoon.
Yeah, I'm always a bit of a throttle jockey and get a bit excited on the first few and burn them up, but you know, that's the way I ride and that's the way I know how to get to the front, but it doesn't always work. But the team put a fantastic bike there for me, so yeah, we'll see what we can do.
Thanks to the team, they really listened to my comments and stuff after the FP3, looked at the data, and they made some amazing changes to the bike. It completely transformed it, gave me exactly what I needed. And I took their advice of just go out there and build up and take my time, and that's what I did. And every lap just got slowly quicker, and that was good enough for pole. So really, really happy. You know, we're in a good place. I'm in a good place mentally, and we're just going to. Hopefully, this is the kickstart that we need now, just to get this season back on the road, and hopefully we can bring a couple of podiums to my home round. You know, it's the only track on the calendar that I've not had a podium, so yeah, it'd be great to do that in front of all the fans.
The hometown hero effect always gives somebody that little bit extra. We saw that in Knockhill with Rory Skinner. We saw what it gave Rory Skinner just to push on that little bit more. I think I talked about the extra brake horsepower that it can give the racer. And I still believe that. Fan power is huge, especially here in the Bennetts British Superbike Championship. But going into that race one, it was a tricky one because it was a wet track. We could all see it was drying. We could all see the incoming weather that we thought was going to come. It was a bit of a gamble. When would the weather come? What would happen?
One of the exciting things about commentating on races that start wet but look like they're going to dry, and I think commentators are probably the only people, and spectators maybe, that are excited about it, because the riders certainly are not, is watching that dilemma on the grid, the drama of what tyres are we going to pick. Are we going to take a gamble? Can we roll the dice?
No matter what we do is a gamble. Yeah. So how do we limit the risk for what we've got to lose?
You're going to be able to brake. That there was straight away.
We've had 7 different race winners in 11 races so far this year. Tap on the tank from Tommy Bridewell. He's hoping his trusty Honda can deliver him the goods. He's been on the podium for the last 6 races. We are good to go racing here at Snetterton in Norfolk. It's round 5 of Bennett's BSB. And we are underway. A good launch off the line there from Storm Stacey. It has to be said. Not so for Tommy Bridewell. Number 79 then. Storm Stacey storms to the front.
The lights went out and we saw how the race was unfolding with Vickers out there sort of tearing off into the distance. I thought, everyone who's gambled on intermediates, they're doomed.
Into turn 2 we go for the first time, and Vickers now takes the lead. Right, Vickers is already gone. He's out on wets on the Gorilla OMG Yamaha ahead of O'Halloran, and Lee Jackson is up into 3rd place. We are getting the tyre information coming through. We will take a glance at that shortly, as Danny Kent there now looking to poke his nose up ahead of number 79 Storm Stacey. Max Cook is flying.
First part of the race, everyone that passed me had wets on, and I thought, right, someone comes past me with an intermediate rear on now, they're getting it into the next corner, because I know there's more that I can be doing.
And here comes Rollo. He's having a look up the inside of Bridewell. Bridewell knew he was coming. Yeah, Bridewell will allow him through.
Tricky conditions at the start of the race. Wet front, into rear, dodging our way through, battling our way through to 11th place.
Storm Stacey, we know that Storm went for an intermediate rear. He is now the fastest man on track, and that is around about 2.5 seconds quicker than your leader, Ryan Vickers.
Ryan Vickers went out there like a scalded cat. Full wets on the bike, and we saw at the initial phase of the start of the race, we saw everybody on full wets disappear at the front. And you had to give it time. That's where the guys that started on that intermediate option tyre, they had to be patient.
There's Stacey. He's made up another place. Storm Stacey, number 79. 4th place for him at Knockhill last time out. Would have given him so much confidence.
No one passed me, so I was gone.
Storm Stacey again with the fastest lap of the race.
Yep.
A 2:02.666 for him.
That's where Storm Stacey really used his head. Something that I've never said before about Storm. But he's a changed man. He's making strides in his racing career. And he waited until he could tell that he was getting a good grip from that rear intermediate. And then all of a sudden, purple lap time, Storm Stacey put the fastest lap of the race in. And we knew in the commentary, that was the turning point.
Oh, Lee Jackson's got a problem.
Yeah,
what a shame for Lee. He was on course for his best ever result. He's gutted. But here comes Storm. He's up the inside of Danny Kent.
And easy. And Danny Kent now will know. He'll think, you know what, he's got something. I'm not going to try and go with him because he's got something I haven't got on the bike.
And I thought, not really too bothered about the people in front of me on the wets, because they're going to come back to me anyway. But then I started to see the clouds go a bit dark over the back. I thought, I need to get some work done here now. I need to start passing some people. So that's when I went to P1.
Here comes the move. Storm Stacey's about to lead the race here. In the background, Ryan Vickers tried to find a puddle or two, and Storm Stacey leads at Snetterton on lap 8 of 60.
I was looking at how many laps were left and thinking, they could genuinely do this. This is really going to be interesting. And watching Storm come through, I just imagined his eyes lighting up, and I don't know why, but I almost just imagined him giggling like a school kid in his helmet, thinking this is coming to me, because he was charging through the pack.
Oh, and it's a crash for Rory Skinner. It's a red flag. We're going to get a red flag. The race has been stopped. There's a red flag. Can that be declared?
Unfortunately, we did see a big crash for Rory Skinner. Skinner up over the top and exited into the tarmac here at Snetterton, and that brought out the red flag.
As commentators, our first thoughts are, is Rory okay? And then we're also trying to do some maths. Have we done 2/3 distance in the race? You know, is Storm the winner? And Storm looked, I think he thought he'd won it.
Storm Stacey, the man you've seen there.
Well, he thinks he's won it.
Thought we was away and home then.
When Storm got back in the box and we knew it was going to be a 5-lap restart, and then it started raining, so everyone would be on, you know, a level playing field again, if you like, a fresh page, all that work Storm had done, I was just thinking, God, I hope it's not for nothing.
So here we are, a 5-lap dash. The first wet race to take place at Snetterton since 2008, and the start has been delayed again. This is sort of uncharted territory for Snetterton as well. We just mentioned it does not rain very often this time of year.
What then unfolded, I mean, was epic as ever. I mean, the tale continues in Bennetts BSB for this year, because I just did not see that coming. Anyone that would have predicted the two riders fighting for the race win would be Storm Stacey and Lewis Rollo, I think you'd have been laughed out of the paddock.
Storm Stacey did not get away well at all from pole position. Number 52 on the McCann's Yamaha. Danny Kent will lead into turn 1 from Jason O'Halloran and Charlie Nesbitt.
But that restart for race 1, I mean, it just got crazy. It got absolutely wild. I expected Vickers to be there. We'd seen how fast he'd been earlier on the full wet tyre, on the wet track. But it didn't materialise. He drifted back in towards the mid-pack.
Despite his poor start, Stacey's recovered. He's up into second, and Nesbitt now is side by side with Jason O'Halloran. Look at Lewis Rollo on the path line. Oh, we got a faller. That's Max Cook.
There's somebody else on
Oh, it's Danny Kent.
Danny Kent.
Danny Kent, number 52 from the lead. And another one's down as well. Rollo goes up into second on the approach to the bomb hole.
Rollo's finding so much grip and he's quite prepared to stick his neck out.
Got into P2 and I thought I can't be this close and not take the lead in my first BSB race. So got into the lead, and then when I got there I just seen clear track and I thought, Lewis, just hit your apexes, do what you've done in the past in the wet and just chip away.
And now he's challenging Storm Stacey.
Yeah, this will be interesting because this is two young riders who have nothing to lose in this.
Absolutely nothing to lose, but a big trophy to win, a big glance over at the Aprilia from Storm Stacey. This is mammoth stuff here.
He's with him. I mean, this is close enough. If he can stay with him, getting a slipstream down the back straight, that Aprilia's quick.
There's nothing wrong with the speed of that bike, is there? But Storm Stacey now is into the slipstream here as they make their way onto the Bentley straight on the approach to Brundle Corner. They're side by side now. Here they go, up the inside for Storm Stacey. Lewis Rollo sees him. He has to let him through. He's going to try and do the run to the line. Here we go then. They exit the final corner. Storm Stacey here. Is this going to be his? The checkered flag is out in the 5-lap rerun, and Storm Stacey is a British Superbike race winner.
Boom, P1! What?
What an extraordinary day of racing that we've just witnessed. Storm Stacey, who'd never had a podium before, the 21-year-old in his 128th BSB start, is now a race winner. This is how popular he is.
He's
the whole lot of the crew in BSB going to congratulate him. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is an 8th different winner in 12 races. Storm Stacey is a British Superbike race winner. He wins it from Lewis Rollo with Kyle Ryden third.
It hasn't sunk in. Ask me that tomorrow. Honestly, it hasn't sunk in at all. If you tell me, yeah, I've just won a BSB, and like, the trophy right here, still doesn't feel real.
So today, to be on the podium and have champions, world superbike riders, race winners, podium finishers, stock 1000 champions, super sport champions all behind me, just absolutely mega.
I think I've done a great job. The tyre choices I made in the first race when it was dry was brave, but I was coming back. I got up to about 7th, and I think would have finished second. Probably Storm would have won anyway because he was 3 seconds in front, but we deserved a podium, both of us, after that.
It was a magic race. genuinely was, all the records were just being thrown out of the commentary box because we're looking at a pathway bike. And Aprilia. Has an Aprilia ever won a BSB race? Nope. Has a pathway bike ever won? Nope.
Storm delivered today, didn't he? He's on another level. He's wired. He really is. And he does things differently. It'll sink in soon for Storm Stacey. And it's also going to sink in soon for Storm Stacey that the way he rode, using his head, produced a result.
A rainy race with a very strong chance of storms because he came through, and I just thought it was brilliant.
It is time for a 12-lap race here at Snet, and at the moment it looks as though we're going to start dry. What is in store for us here? Tommy Bridewell and Glenn Irwin are locked on points. It's Storm Stacey, though, yesterday's winner, on pole position here. And at the moment, a dry circuit ahead of Lewis Rollo and Kyle Ride, who was on the podium yesterday. We're ready to go racing here at Snetterton. Eyes on the lights. And away we go. A good start there from Vickers. And on the second row also for Andy Irwin, it looked like, as they got away. Storm Stacey, though, is he just about going to hold the whole shot? He does.
Yep, Storm Stacey followed by Kyle Wright, followed by Lewis Rollo. And Lewis Rollo will have a go at this. He technically shouldn't be go as quick as his grid position would suggest.
Right, he's diving up the inside. Nice move that from Kyle Wright to take the lead down into turn 2.
Kyle made a great start.
It's Glenn Irwin, though, that now has the lead. Number 2 on the Ducati from Kyle Wright.
Just wanted to get to the front, wanted to ride my own lines, and I knew Tommy would be there.
But this race isn't over yet, and Bridewell here just picking 1 or 2 off. He's got through on Irwin, and now on the approach to Ritchie's corner, he's through on Stacey.
When you've got Tommy starting from 16th on the grids, you can't not keep an eye on the reigning champion.
Ooh, Tommy's up the inside of Danny Kent now. You don't want it to go wrong at Corums, but it is a brilliant corner when it's going right.
Don't want to get it wrong there.
Tommy made so many passes in that race, because remember, he started deep in the field and he had to chip his way through. Made some great passes going in towards the last corner.
Again, another one for Tommy Bridewell. He goes through on Christian Idden.
What he did in the first part of that race was unbelievable. I mean, he was just picking them off.
Just having a look to see how much rain there is as Bridewell pounces on Ryan Vickers underneath the bridge and into Brundle. Vickers is wide, actually, and through goes Christian Idden as well.
Fair play to Glenn. His game plan was to, go, lights out, go, and he did exactly that. And Kyle did a really good job of hanging on, and then guess what? Red flag.
Right, oh dear. We've got a bike on fire. Louis Vallely's bike has gone down. He's okay, but the bike is not. That's turn 1. That's at Ritchie's.
Unfortunately, Louis Vallely lost an engine passing the grandstand, or the pits, I should say, and erupted into a ball of flames going down towards turn number 1, which is a bit of a disaster for the MP Racing Kawasaki.
So wet race has been declared, but it's anything but.
5-lap dash for the cash, and it was no hold bars. It was absolutely throttle wide open, pedal to the metal if it was in the car. These guys left nothing on the track.
5 laps and away we go. Good start from Ryan Vickers on the second row. It looked like he didn't got a good one as well. Tommy Bridewell maybe not so much.
Glenn just got the guns out, and he went and he asked big questions. Tommy didn't get a good start, which didn't help him, but Glenn hit every apex he needed to hit. He was absolutely perfect out front, and by the time Tommy inevitably got through to second place, you could see Tommy was pushing, and all of a sudden it wasn't coming quite as easy to him as it was in that first part when he was 16th on the grid.
Just into turn 3 now.
Tommy Bradwell's under Christian Idden. Lovely move.
Another place made up.
Yeah, look at Tommy's looking to go around the outside at Corums. That should put him in a good position to get up the inside into the chicane. And it does.
Yeah, through he goes. On the cutback, Kyle will try and get there, but it's not going to happen. Lovely move there from Tommy Bridewell. He's using his body weight there just to try and make sure that front wheel stays down. It is Bridewell up to second. He's got 1.3 seconds to catch Glenn Irwin, who's the fastest man on circuit.
And it was Glenn Irwin that came away with a victory. And he looked good as well. And that made us all start thinking about, can Glenn kind of do what Tommy did last year? Will he double up on the Sunday?
What a response from the man who was the runner-up. They were locked on points, but they're not anymore. Glenn Irwin wins race 2 at Snetterton in supreme style by almost 2 seconds.
As I crossed the line, I said to myself, that is absolutely fantastic. What a performance, Glenn.
God, he needed that win so badly. He really needed it. You could just see in his face, almost like, wouldn't quite go as far as say relief, but after a few races without a podium, he really needed the points. And you could see the disappointment on Tommy's face on the podium. Like, you could visibly see that he was a bit put out. At the same time, if you'd have said to Tommy at the start, of race 2, look, you're 16th on the grid, you're actually going to end up on the podium. I think you'd have taken it.
UK, the defending champion, an 8th podium off the season for Tommy Bridewell. And taking a victory, his 5th of the season for BBM Higgins Ducati, the race winner, Glenn Owen.
I came into this 11 points behind, now we're 2 ahead, but that side of things doesn't mean a whole lot at the minute. It's just about feeling good, winning races, enjoying racing, and that makes me push hard, and yeah, thankful for it, enjoying it, and hopefully the fans did too.
It's round 5 of the Bennetts British Superbike Championship for 2024, and it has been quite the story so far. 2 5-lap dashes. The weather demons have been at it, but who stands on the top step at the end of this 16-lap battle? Glenn Owen is on pole, Eden second, with Bridewell in third. Let's see whether it's a proper ding-dong here between him and Tommy Bridewell again. It's eyes on the light, 16 laps coming up. Glenn Owen on pole, all 3 on the front row got away well, particularly Christian Iden, number 21 on the Motor Rapido Ducati. Tommy Bridewell's got the inside line, Kyle Wright's coming through as well as Danny Kent, but it's going to be Iden that squeezes through to take the lead, and also a good ride there from the OMG rider. Was that Kyle Wright?
That's Kyle Wright just slicing through, yeah.
When I got the whole shot, I was like, oh mint, you know, like I actually feel confident enough to go out there and try and win it from the front and just see if I can lead every lap. That plan didn't work out.
Here comes Glenn Owen. I think Kyle Wright lost a bit of momentum at Murray's, and that's allowed Glenn Owen through.
I was aware that Christian would definitely be a main challenger, and Tommy definitely as well. We picked Kyle off, and Christian's riding incredibly well this year, and it was very enjoyable to sit with him. And it's like we're on 2 different manufacturers. Our bikes working. Strengths are so different.
That's a bit more like it. Josh Brooks, the FHO Racing BMW rider, has put in the fastest lap of the race as Tommy Bridewell then does make his move now into turn 2. He set up Kyle Wright, and now Danny Kent fancies a piece of the action as well.
You know, Christian got off to a really good start and was managing the race really well out front, and the Yamahas were there as well. But you did feel like there was an inevitability about Glenn and Tommy just gradually fighting their way through to the front. Now they had the laps and the time to do it as well.
Iden is doing a sterling job out front ahead of Glenn Owen, keeping him at bay. Glenn Owen likes to move into turn 4, and he's going to go for it as well. The door was just left slightly open, and he's run wide, but so was Christian Iden on the cutback. Iden can't get back through. Glenn Owen lead.
Don't know what happened, but yeah, Glenn ended up getting me. And it was kind of hard because our gearing seems just, in certain places, it's just on the tall side, and if I'm not in front, it's really hard to run exactly to the revs that I need, to run the corner speed that I need in certain places.
6 points to be in it as
Here we go.
And that was wide though, and on the cutback, Iden's trying to wrestle it out. They'll be side by side on the start-finish straight. Tommy Bridewell will have to relinquish that position again and have another go maybe into turn 1.
Yeah, they need to watch out, because any battling between them is going to give Glenn Owen an advantage. That was a cleaner move, and that should work. Yes, it has. You can see the second apex of that turn 1 reaches, and that'll work.
I reckon from start finish and the back straight, I'm probably losing over maybe about half a second on the Ducatis without their slipstream. When in the race is not as bad because I've got the slipstream and it pulls me along a bit, but even then I'm losing enough that I then can only catch them on the brakes, but I can't outbrake them.
Onto the start-finish straight we go. There's 3 laps left here at Snetterton. Owens just has it for now.
Times have dropped a little bit, a couple of tenths. They are a little bit slower, not much. Tommy has another look into turn 1. He's just run a little bit wide. That might hand a little bit of an advantage to Christian Iden there.
We go to turn 2, and yeah, Tommy's not able to make that move. That was tight entry there from Glenn Owen.
Yeah, it was. He's actually riding a bit defensive. That's what's cost him.
You know, that old adversary, Tommy Bridewell, he looked so good. And when they appeared on track together, everybody was like, game on.
Tommy knew that there was no point doing anything there. He'd be on the outside line for turn 3. So it's all getting a bit tense and nervous here. Christian Iden is right on the tail now with Tommy Bridewell.
Yeah, well,
looking
Tommy
to make a move
Bridewell
himself.
doesn't need this, because you turn a line up a move, and then before you know it, you've got trouble from behind here.
It was like a high-speed chess match. It was really cool to watch. And then, you know, going into that final lap where you thought, okay, we've been here before, we've seen this story before. I must admit I was expecting maybe fireworks. but full respect to them. You know, Glenn went heavy into turn 2. They were both side by side. They both looked at each other. I don't know what they might have been thinking when they were looking at each other at that point.
Glenn Irwin's just thinking, right, clean lap, hit my points, don't make any mistakes, don't run wide, because he knows that Tommy is right there and will not need. Oh, and he's gone wide.
Yeah, it's gone wide, and Tommy Bridewell's come back through on him. They're going to be side by side, and the inside line though is for Glenn Irwin at turn 3. Irwin there trying to fend off Tommy Bridewell.
You know, when I made the mistake in the last lap, when Tommy got through, I was always going in the turn 3 for a pass.
He just about manages it. On the power a bit early there for Bridewell.
Of course, yeah, he's trying to get the drive down.
This is as close as Tommy's been at the end of the back straight for some time. You know that he's going to try and pull the move off into Murray's. He's got to try and make this sector as clean as possible. Look at him using his own lines as much as possible.
Yeah, well, I think this is going to be a little bit of a lunge, and I think if it's going to come, it's going to come at Murray's chicane.
He's on the gas early, out of the bomb hole. He's trying to try and find a way through. Glenn Irwin is trying to make himself as wide as possible. He's making Tommy go a really long way round. There's not going to be close enough here. Is there going to be a desperate lunge here from Tommy Bridewell to try and win the race? No, there is not. Glenn Irwin goes defensive,
but does that give Tommy the drive out the corner?
I don't think it does. The checkered flag is out, and it looks like Glenn Irwin has done enough here. Tommy Bridewell trying everything, but Irwin does a double here at Snetterton ahead of Tommy Bridewell, but there was really nothing to split the pair of them.
Straight. I was like, come on, I was looking me along. I got one pulling me along and one pulling me back, and I'm like, sake, man.
It was a Glenn and Tommy show, wasn't it? With a kind of watchful Christian Idden, who, again, another strong weekend. That's back-to-back good weekends for Christian Idden on 2 polar opposite tracks. Knockhill, Snetterton, when you look at them, tight and twisty, fast, flat, but the Oxford product bike got it really all coming together, so I'm pretty sure the guys in the garage, Steve Wilthmoor, you'll be pretty happy with what they put together.
You know, I don't know, don't really know what I feel, to be fair. I don't really feel like I've just done a 16-lap race. I just feel like I could go again, and I want another shot at it. Yeah, it wasn't quite enough at the end, so we learn, we go again next round.
From today I've lost 4 points, you know, so I can't be disappointed. 4 points is nothing, you know, so I'm happy. I know them points add up, and I've certainly got you know, one eye on the situation. So yeah, good weekend all in all.
I tried to go more and more, and you're on leave it, David.
Yeah. And I thought, God, I'm just gonna have a go. And I thought, I will 100% hit it.
Trevor Nation. Simpson. Do you know what? I said it in another interview. It's so nice, and it's a very nice feeling to be part of such a great rivalry. Never mind the rest of the guys who are all riding so well, but the fans are buying into this because it's genuine, it's real, and I'm loving it. I think this year I'm channeling it a little bit better, and I just love it. You know, someone that will bring the best out of me, and awesome weekend. A 5th and 2 first, and you know, to come in 4 points ahead after riding 11 behind is, like I say, it's not too important at this stage of the year. But not many weekends with a new format do you swing 15 points on the main championship rival at this point. So good job, team. Thank you.
Well, Snetterton, completely different from anything else. Little bit like Knockhill, inclement weather, new winners, fast laps, lots of spills, lots of thrills. Let's head to Brands Hatch.
What was probably the coolest thing for me was, yeah, we want some needle. We're neutrals, we like seeing a bit of needle. But ultimately, you want to see close racing, it's clean racing, and you want to see big smiles on faces. And there's that moment after the race where they both just patted each other on the back. There's that ultimate respect. Yeah, they're foes, right? And let's not make, you know, let's not pretend these guys are friends. They're not going to be breaking bread together at a dinner table anytime soon. But it was great because they both just say chapeau to each other. They both know that they're at the top of their game, and fights between them are brilliant to watch. And that was another classic example. And there's 4 points between them now heading into Brands, and I think this is it. I think this is what we've got. I'm not saying it's just them two. Christian is doing a really, really good job. Kyle will be back, Ryan will be back, O'Halloran will be back. Who else are we missing? They'll all be there, but I think Glenn versus Tommy is back on.
The crowd don't know which way to look. The last race, the last corner of 2023. Glenn Irwin's going to win, but you knew British Superbike champion is Tommy Bridewell by half a point. Who writes the script in BSB?
You could not write this.